It's the Christian
Right.
nationalists. It's the
Right.
Christian nationalists. That's
Yeah.
who are like
The Christian
reasserting
nationalists
themselves.
the Christian nationalists hate that term Judeo-Christian.
Yep.
They're like, "Stop with this."
Yep.
Yes, it's Christianio-Christian.
That's
It's
right.
not
Christian.
there's anti-Semites, in any political faction, but there isn't a problem on the left. It is not a burgeoning industry on the left like it is on the right. It is metastasizing on the right.
A good example would be if you tried to do an anti-Semitic YouTube program, you would not find an audience on the left. That doesn't exist. You do it on the right, you got millions of people watching. So that kind of tells you like where that audience and where that problem is.
What is your understanding of what they're dealing with this issue on the right? I'm curious.
I mean, it's too, conservatives don't want to hear it from me, but like the problem is their underlying Christian nationalist ideology being taken to its logical extreme. Like, and the like breakdown in kind of gatekeeping media, allowing it to be taken to its logical extreme. Like in the past, you could see where Christian nationalism would head, but you couldn't get there because you'd put fences around it. Because like a Fuentes couldn't build up an audience. They just couldn't. You'd have the Birch Society like doing their mail stuff or whatever, but like you could not let them speak at the conventions, not let them on the 3 broadcast news programs, and then they're kind of boxed out of the national conversation. You can't do that anymore. So it allows them to take their ideology to its extreme. And if you say that Hindus, are going to burn in hell, the amount of anti-Indian hatred on the right now is exploding.
Fuentes went deep in attacking
Vance.
Yeah.
And if you say that Muslims don't belong in America and should all be deported, even the ones who were born here, and they're all a threat and they're terrorists, and then you have Fuentes people come in and be like, cool, we agree, and the Jews. And then the right is like, no, hold on, that's beyond the pale. And the Fuentes people are like, why? We hate everybody who's not Christian. They're not Christian. We hate them too. And so they don't have an answer to that. And the answer would be, we're all Americans. It's a multicultural, multi-faith democracy. What matters, you do the MLK stuff like that. Like that's the answer to that. But they're so dug in on anti-wokeness and Christian nationalism that they won't say that.
I mean, and this has been the trajectory, right? I mean, of the Republican Party for the past 20 years, since as long as you and I have been watching this stuff, is watching a Republican Party that would exploit racism, that would exploit Islamophobia, that would exploit all of these anti-Semitism to a certain extent, and to watch them exploit it in their electoral base, to them actually the electoral base taking over that element of the party. And I mean,
you keep seeing a version of it, like with Boehner elevating the Tea Party, and then the Tea Party throws them out. Tea Party elevates the Trump wing throws them out. Trump wing elevates Fuentes, lets them back on Twitter because they buy it, and then we'll see how it ends. And the real danger for them is that audience is there, and so now you have people who you go out and buy a microphone and make a YouTube show. 25% of the country is like with Fuentes, and so that's this massive opportunity for these right-wing content creators to go and just feed more of that stuff. So it's a very vicious cycle that I don't see a way out for them. I feel like they're going to be taken over by
it. Somebody's got to write a book about how there was, and I'm sure there is, but the Christian nationalists went a little bit underground following the Bush years, and they were submerged. But then they popped back up with Mike Pence as the vice president, and all the while they're backfilling and it's growing. And then now they don't have like a leader per se in the administration. I guess Vance, on some level, is that guy.
But he's a Catholic. Like the evangelical Christian nationalists, they see Trump as their leader just because he is a stand-in for an evangelical preacher.
Chosen by God,
Yeah.
and a providence.
Yeah.
It is. It's going to be interesting to see where they go just in the next 11 months or so, because this is not going to go away, and it's only going to sort of like gain momentum. It seems to me on the right. They have no idea how to deal with this.
Yeah, and a huge part of it that fueled the rise, I think, was genuinely the genocide in Gaza. Like a lot of these young Christians saw that, didn't like it, and then when they spoke out about it, were called anti-Semitic, and then they just gravitate towards Fuentes, like, oh, I guess I'm anti-Semitic. So I think that played a role, and also Netanyahu's decision in the Obama years to basically break with the Democratic Party and throw their lot in with the far right.
Yep.
Like not a well thought out plan, guys. Like, have you seen who's in the alt-right?
I just remember there was a quote from an Israeli general, and like Michael Brooks would talk about how Israel was making common cause with right-wing, really like Nazi adjacent parties in Europe in the teens. And that an Israeli general somebody asked them, it's like, you realize like these Christian Zionists in America, they support Israel because they want you all to die in hellfire when Jesus returns. And the general was like, we'll deal with it then.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
they're dealing with it now, right?
It turns out this can happen before Jesus returns. And thank you for that theological pronouncement, Ryan.
There you go.
The truth is that anti-Semitism works. And every time you see the rise of it, you know it's because something's going on with money. It's money markets. Now, that nobody ever says that anti-Semitism is a tool of empire that helps divide people, and specifically ethnic populations. But the fact of it is that empire, royal blue bloods, the people who are the real 1%, let's stop bullshitting everybody, the people who have the divine right of kings, they own the stock markets, and they specifically, the only way they would let the Jews of Europe live was to make them their bankers and their middlemen. So every time they're about to get caught, they throw the Jews, they throw anti-Semitism. It's live meat for the dogs in the street, and they throw it to people, and it works every time. They're like, we're the middleman. The middleman is the one because they're just fucking idiots, and it works. It's an MK mind control program of the 1%, and it works. And the banks and all of capitalism is the City of London and the Vatican City, and Wall Street, where the decisions of what population they're going to enslave and rob and possess, wherever that's going to go. They do that with manipulation of currencies. So it's happening here now in the United States too, and it was in the EU. It's just like, this is currency wars. That's really what it's about.
Do you think that when people are in tough economic times in a global recession, that those on the bottom of the ladder get more provincial, more tribal anyway, and that we see a rise in anti-Semitism, but we also see a rise of anti-Christian persecution in the Muslim world, anti-Muslim persecution in the Christian world, and that generally when times get tough, people become more dickish against those who are different?
I think people are programmed, and I think that the three programs that empire uses, because it does exploit ethnic diversity and goes and sells both sides of every ethnic problem weapons, because that makes the stock market go up, because weapons, drugs, slavery, that's how the stock market works. So they all work for the same guys. They're all on the same side. It's bullshit. They have like maybe a 2% difference of opinion. It's all bullshit.
This is what Noam Chomsky said, and I'm saying Noam Chomsky for all the kids out there. That the way to control people is to have a very, very, very narrow focus and really spirited debate within those narrow parameters. I paraphrase.
And I'm glad you said that, because that, bringing us back to the top of the show, is exactly what the Presbyterian Church did. They controlled their own dissent. They not only manufactured consent, but they manufactured dissent too. And that's the way it goes now.
Why don't you explain that, how that works?
It's like when you don't get any variant opinion beside the one you carry, that is not democracy, and that isn't fair, and you are disqualified from making any sort of a judgment with that kind of input. That's not the way it works. That's not the way science works either. Like, everybody attacked me when, Hawaii, was coming up against Monsanto in a vote there. And they said, that I was anti-science, because that's what they always say, anti-science. But I'm like, I said, let's find the studies then that Monsanto and the state of Hawaii did on behalf of children's health, public health. Let's find those studies and see where they vary from Monsanto studies. And you know what? We couldn't find any. You know why? Because there weren't any done. And that's how it works now. And that is the Supreme Court's fault. By voting for Citizens United, they sold our country and our government to the highest bidder. The biggest pedophile, drug addict, slave traders, drug lords in the world, you can buy our government and make our laws, and they do.